It's in the game.
Give me a break, need another life. Oh, need another life. Give me a break, need another life.
Well, whereas it can't decide things today, it could go a long way to doing so. Live from Old Trafford, Manchester United take on Chelsea. If United win here today, they go top of the Women's Super League with 2 games remaining in a bid to complete one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Well, this game wouldn't decide the Women's Super League immediately, but it is still the flashpoint of the season. Welcome to Old Trafford. Welcome to Chelsea versus Manchester United. Welcome to top against second. And this could be the one that virtually does decide it to some degree. If Chelsea win today, they go 5 points clear to then have a chance next week to take the title with a game left to spare. If Manchester United take this win today, then they go 1 point clear, and then they'd have to beat Manchester City and Arsenal in the final 2 games of the season to kind of clinch it, unless Chelsea, of course, lose this and the game next week. They need to keep on winning, and Mike Skinner is all hands on deck, all shooters out there that could possibly do so, with the possible exception of Elizabeth Taylor, who actually doesn't start today, amazingly. Instead, it's Davidson up top. But this team is more than good enough to beat this Chelsea side, because throughout the second half of the season, Manchester United haven't lost a game. The last time they did was against this very side, of course, in which kicked off the whole saga with United's goalkeeper and many other players involved as well. Sam Kerr, not to be confused with Samantha Kerr that plays for Manchester United, of course, it's only in namesake. She only makes the bench, but Ritten starts, as does Ramirez. Ritten tore this team to shreds at Stamford Bridge with her unbelievable pace, and Ramirez, who's been scoring for fun this season, only behind Tierland and Duzay, and maybe Evan Toon as well, but she's still been putting them in and scoring them for her team, and that's probably most of the reason why Chelsea are in this position. But as we said, if Manchester United win this, then win at Manchester City, they have a chance to clinch it on the final day, which would be great. But, of course, if they win this and then Chelsea lose next week, that could decide this destination already, because then that would put United 4 points clear, 5 points clear themselves with a game to spare. So, actually, no, before, my apologies. But that would still be a game to spare, because if they win and then Chelsea lose, then that is the the Women's Super League wrapped up for the very first time by this Manchester United women's side. Davison already with an early shot. Toon comes in and gets the ball and shoots and scores immediately. Ella Toon, because who else? Immediate off the kickoff, more or less. Manchester United want to make sure they win this one. They understand the importance. This is a much different team to the one Chelsea faced at Stamford Bridge and blew them out of the stadium. New goalkeeper, couple of new players, couple of youngsters that have come through the academy. It is a different side, and it's a much better one than that as well. Ella Toon, emphasis on scoring immediately, and they're up by a goal to nil. And right now, that puts Manchester United 1 point clear at the top, with the last 2 games of the season yet to play. The last one will be against Arsenal, who also beat Manchester United in that early stretch of the season. So how ironic that the last two of the last 3 against the 2 teams that are able to get a result against Manchester United this season. But Manchester United do not want to make that mistake again. Jansen's actually in partnering the Tisse at the centre of defence today. Mike Skinner is pretty much putting out the best team he can, bar a couple. No Tierland, and Clinton is on the left today as well. So it is pretty much all hands on deck, all feet on deck, and all shooting boots on, basically. Mike Skinner is throwing everything he can to try and get something from this, and immediately he looks like he may have succeeded, but there's still another 85 or so minutes left to play, and anything can happen from here on out. Here is Samantha Kerr, not to be confused with the Kerr that plays for Chelsea. As we said, it's only really namesake. It's not any relation or anything like that, but well, she's not been as instrumental as Kingsbury has. Kingsbury was the big signing that changed everything for Manchester United, because it was due to her magnificent contributions, especially in the early part of her career, where she took 2 clean sheets, and Manchester United scored for fun with 15 goals. And it really started this whole run in the first place. But Chelsea are not out of this yet by a long shot. They are the league leaders for a reason, but Manchester United sending an early, very, very early emphatic statement of intent that they're not going to let them be played off the park like they were last time. That's exactly what Ella 2 needed to do. Here she is. So without Tierland, who's another one who's been kind of putting them in as of late, and probably part of the reason why United have been on the surge in the first place, and has done really well in Toon, Ladd and José's absences. I believe everyone will be at full strength, pretty much, in return for the Arsenal game. So for Mike Skinner, it'll be the first time in a couple of months they'll have his full squad available. So he'll be hoping, it's safe from Kingsbury, he'll be hoping that he can wrap the title up against Manchester City, so he doesn't really have to worry about bringing maybe Ladd and José back maybe a bit earlier than he would have wanted. But right now, he is doing what his team is doing what needs to be done here. An immediate 1-0 lead, and Kingsbury making a couple of early good saves early on. Baltimore takes the corner short. Here's Ritten, who absolutely played United off the park, and she found a teammate with that one, but now she's picked it up again, and Blundell blocks her out. Sanderberg's coming in to block Ingle, and Kingsbury saves again. Well, she is probably 80% of the reason Manchester United have surged on from the winter break to be in this position. Audrey Kingsbury has changed everything, more or less. And Davison and Kerr have contributed where they can as well. They were 2 of the lesser signings at the 3. And Butcherman goes wide with the header. Well, it was here at Stamford Bridge in this very matchup where Mike Skinner lost all composure for a moment. And we all remember what happened next. Phyllis Joyce was pretty much frozen out. Yeah, like we said at the time, you probably had to feel for Phyllis Joyce, really. She had huge gloves to fill. Continuing on from where Mary Epps left off. And despite a couple of decent performances, that Chelsea performance where it was relatively poor by all standards, really, not just her, but it was kind of a last straw for Mike Skinner, really. And then Maddie and Patel came in and did a very admirable job, but was also selfish to requirements, if you remember. And that was probably to bring all the money in to bring Kingsbury over. And it paid absolute dividends. And it certainly has done so far in this game. And of course, Manchester United went on to play the biggest matchup in the English game and win that match. And he were with a shot there, and it's wide. Right, so it was a good-looking strike when it left her boot, but sadly it just curled too far away. make any real impact. Maybe Kingsbury would have had that covered, to be fair, though. Well, if there was ever a time for Manchester United to go on one of their scoring rounds, it's today. So they probably need another one or two just to make sure. As this Chelsea team has also been bagging in goals for fun this season, particularly with Mahrez. Takes the free kick quickly and finds Davison of all people. She's actually getting a start today. Elizabeth Taylor, so I wonder if Taylor's carrying a knock, because I don't think we even saw her on the subs bench. And there's Ella Toon with another attempt. This time it's out for a corner though. Well, as we said, it won't decide it, but it will go into a long way into deciding it. And it will give Manchester United advantage going into the Manchester derby, which will be next. Here's Sanderberg. Sanderberg making an amazing run here. She got pushed. And there was a little attempt at trying to get a penalty, but I don't think she was even close to going down to the ground. It was rightly not given. Here's Written. And Sanderberg knew that was happening and immediately stopped her in her tracks. You need to do that with Written because her pace is absolutely immense, as she proved at Stamford Bridge earlier in the season. She was virtually unplayable that day, as was Ramirez. And Ramirez has been almost unplayable all season long. I think Manchester United and Chelsea have matched each other stride for stride. It just took Manchester United a lot longer to get there, as it was the draws that were kind of killing their year a bit. But like we said, since the winter break, I don't think Manchester United have dropped any points at all. Baltimore, and that's going to come off Blundell for a Chelsea corner. Yep. So Blundell knew how to position herself there. Written, and once again she leaves her opponent for pace, and Bright hit off the post. And where was Audrey Kingsbury and all that? The goal was gaping. That's a golden opportunity, and we're looking at the wrong side because we're looking at this good save from Hannah Hampton. We should be really looking at that chance for Chelsea because that was a golden opportunity. Kingsbury was nowhere. There's the ball again. Butcherman's in. Oh, and Kingsbury with a save. That's much better. And that's what she was bought for. A stunning save from a diving header that looked almost certain to be a goal. Audrey Kingsbury is at it again. And already you can tell just how much better of a performance this is from United in this first half hour. A shadow of the performance that they put in against them at Stamford Bridge, which was utterly poor, to be fair. They did score theirs, but it was nowhere near enough, really. Because it was the conceding of 4 which let them down. Of course, Letitia was injured at that point, I believe. Butchman has tackled Galton. Probably lucky not to get buffed for that. I think she did just get the ball first. Well, Chelsea having a lot more of the ball in the last 30 minutes or so. But Manchester United have been the one to convert their chance. And almost converted another for Della Tood. But Kingsbury is the talk of the other end, making some splendid saves in this first half. Samantha Kerr. We'll be interested to see if Sam Kerr for Chelsea comes on later. A battle of the namesakes going on that one. Here's Galton to Nelson. The Manchester United keeping the ball on the ground, very much like Arsenal have. And it's up for United throw. Manchester United are not totally depleted, but Jose and Hayley Ladd are still out with injuries. Here's Ramirez with a lot of space. Kingsbury with another good save. And in comes Mercerio, and it's offside. It's probably lucky. I think Kingsbury would have been okay. Definitely offside. And I think Kingsbury would have been alright. She was kind of back in position by the time Mauricio got there. A stunning performance so far. Far cry from what happened at Stamford Bridge. And you can just tell by this performance how valuable her signing has been. She's been the one that's made the difference. And Davison and Kerr have also contributed as signings as well. Winton is wide on that one. And this woman has blistering pace. She's going to be very hard to deal with on a weekly basis. Stamford Bridge, she was virtually unplayable for this United side. Blistering pace, beating them, all ends up for chips. No doubt Mike Skinner made her a bit of a flashpoint in his team talk. Baltimore's down. It says play on. Chelsea had the ball because Baltimore went back to get it after Blundell had picked it up. Mauricio with the shot, and Kingsbury with a save again. And Chelsea must be shell-shocked. This is not the same team they faced last time. Kingsbury's made some stunning saves. With a corner and inches. Oh, and Kingsbury's there again, I think. This was the shot from earlier. Well, she said she's on the other, we said she's on the other side of 30, but she's not. She's not old by any stretch, and she's really proving it right now. She's ripe as anything. And laser focused, definitely. And it's going to be a Chelsea free kick, I think. That's a bit harsh to give it. The fans aren't happy. I can understand why. It did seem a bit harsh. Look how focused Kingsbury is. Not to say that Tourish Joyce wasn't, but... man. And focus is something that United have been were clearly missing at the start. And the free kick is over and out. Sadly. It's a good attempt, to be fair. The ball jumped way too late, to be fair. Davison well took. She rises the challenge. Davison brilliantly done. And she scores. And Manchester United 2 up as the first half comes to a close. Lauren Davison, of all people, riding a challenge and running away with it. Wonderfully done. And United are determined not to let the nightmare of Stamford Bridge happen again. Because this time, they're in a position to strike and take the lead of this title race for the first time since the start. And maybe go on to win it from here. And Old Trafford can barely believe it. In a season of absolute turmoil for the whole of Manchester United for a variety of reasons, the Women's Super League team have been the shining point. And it really has made the attendances really spike up at Old Trafford. So, it's not to say the stadium's not full when the men play, But when the women play, it's definitely much more fluid than you'd expect. This team has been the talk of the year. And now they could become champions of it. We emphasise could, as there'll be still 2 games after this. Past the opposite number, as it were. It's the ball in towards Davidson. A good save by Hampton. She didn't really know much about it. And it will be offside against Davidson anyway. But Clinton, what a ball. And, oh. It's a kneecap and an arm. Literally. That's very fine margin indeed. Well, it's not the nightmare at Stamford Bridge at this point. Mike Skinner left the field and left it first and was gone within seconds. This time, it's much different. Davidson has scored another, and Ella Toon has marked her return finally with a goal, and United look to right the wrongs of Stamford Bridge. And they're 2-0 up at the break here in a crucial game. Welcome back to Old Trafford for the Women's Super League Flashpoint game, the game that could virtually decide the destination of the title. Chelsea win here, they go 5 points clear as Elizabeth Taylor actually comes on for the second half, so she did make the bench. We just probably missed her in the bench rundown. And I think that was who else had come on there? I didn't really get to see, unfortunately, but I think it was Bizet. For Clinton, actually. But just to remind you of the state of play today, Manchester United win here and they go a point clear with 2 games to go. A chance to clinch it against Manchester City in the Manchester derby if Chelsea lose that game next time for them, which I think might be against Arsenal, but I'm not sure of that. If it goes to it, then it's down to the final day. Then Chelsea will be playing Everton, I think, or Liverpool. And Manchester United will be taking on Arsenal. Now, Arsenal are one of the very few teams this season that have inflicted a loss on Manchester United. I think the only 2 losses they've had is against Arsenal and Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. As far as the Champions League is concerned, I think Manchester United do actually make it to the Champions League no matter what at this point, because they will be at least second at the moment, but City still have an outside chance of getting in as well. I think it either is the top 3 or the top 2 that go through to the Champions League for next season. So Manchester United are virtually there. And here comes Sam Kerr for Chelsea. Interesting. We're going to get a battle of the Kerrs here. And, well, right now, Samantha Kerr's team are currently winning. And Ramirez is the one gone off. So that'll be an instant wave of relief for Mike Skinner's side. Because Ramirez has been really kind of banging them in the back of the net of late, and that's why Chelsea are in this position. But today, she's going to get a big 0 in terms of goals today. So that's going to really make things a slightly easier for this United side. But Chelsea is still stacked. Kerr is no slouch in her own right, and she can get them in when she needs to, scores the goals. But there, she was met by Mara Letitia, who has had an absolutely inspired season in defence, to be fair. If Chelsea win this game, they go 5 points clear at the top. Again, with a chance to clinch it in the next game. Because they'll only be 5 points clear. If they went 6 points clear today, it would virtually decide it, except for Manchester United's superior goal difference, especially since the second half. But there would still, if Manchester United were to lose the game against Manchester City and Chelsea drew, and here's Sam Kerr, and she's going to be denied because Kingsbury is in inspired form right now. Baltimore shoots. Oh, Kingsbury saves it. Oh, the ball's gone over. Oh, my goodness, she's caught it. Wonderful save. Audrey Kingsbury has been the difference maker. And once again, it's absolutely splendid from her. I thought that was going to creep into the back of the net off her splendid save in the first place. But she was determined not to let that happen. Here's Bizet, who got a double in a couple of games back. Ella too has been scoring for fun. Oh my word. Manchester United a far cry from the team at Stamford Bridge, which was absolutely rocked by Mike Skinner's reaction to all the goals, really. But it was the last one that really, or the penultimate one, really set him off. He was down the tunnel before the half-time whistle even blew, with an absolute look of anger on his face, and it really sparked him into action when it came to this team. And they have responded by rather letting their heads drop. They've actually become inspired by their reaction and really started playing well and for him, which was absolutely tremendous reaction. It's exactly the reaction he probably wanted, to be fair. He got his desired reaction and it's worked out a treat. James is coming on for Baltimore here. She was another one that I believe played against, in the previous match and played really well, actually. There's Sam Kerr again. There's Marcio. Or Macario, I think it is, actually. And here's Sam Kerr, and she missed. It's unfortunate. And Kingsbury, absolutely splendid performance. Even if she doesn't keep a clean sheet today, she's definitely earned her stars. But with Ramirez now out of the game, she's being substituted, it definitely lessens the worry. But Kerr, like we said, no slouch at all. Here's two. And Bright gets it. Oh. And Galton almost came up with that one. Here's James. One substitute to another. Back to Kerr. Oh. And I think the weather probably told for a little bit. Let's have a look. It looked like a really good shot when it left her boot. And the bounce, it could have really gone anywhere. He's pretty lucky. And take this in. Because if Manchester United are to win here, I think it'll be their... No, they've got Manchester City at home next. Now, of course, the new stadium will be built for some time. But if the men don't drastically improve and Manchester United do pull this off, will they be one of the last teams to win a league title or a title of any kind at Old Trafford? Now, Manchester United could still win trophies in that time, but Ruben Alvarez's got a lot of clearing out and fixing to do. So it is down to the women for now to really leave their own mark, and Kingsbury makes a good save there. I think that might have been off Jensen, who tried to clear it, actually. So he's trying to bang down the door with these corners. Just over 20 minutes to go. Manchester United still leading by 2-0 here. And here's James. Sanderberg has been brought and Bright, and Kingsbury has to make a absolutely reactionary save. And it's absolutely splendid. Kingsbury is having a women of the match performance here. I think they still call it man of the match, I'm not sure. I wouldn't have thought so. But definitely a woman of the match performance here today from her. Absolutely splendid stuff. Indeed to Marquio. Jewel again. Chelsea starting to get a bit more into this game now. They're starting to feel a bit more confident. But Kingsbury is in inspired form. He's written. And Maya Letizia actually does get a challenge in. Relentless pressure now. Chelsea know they can take this title virtually today. Although on current evidence of the scoreline, doesn't look likely. But still a lot of time left to be played. With a ball in and Bright's head is it and heads wide, man. Well, been rather kind of semi-wasteful with their chances, really. Audrey Kingsbury, absolutely splendid game so far, as we said. Making saves out of a top draw. And like we said, a far cry from the game at Stamford Bridge. Joyce Joyce struggled all afternoon, more or less, to the point where she was subbed off at the first half. No danger of that happening to Kingsbury today. And it's a free kick as Toon took a shot. Now, Golden's standing over this. It's a bit further out than she's used to. This isn't as close as Declan Rice's free kick was. He scored against Fulham. But it's definitely in somewhat a range. Let's see what happens. She's going to go for a patented technique, I'm sure. She goes for it. Oh, it's a good save by Hampton. She was ready. Good save. Very good save. She was ready. She knew what was coming. Well read by Hampton. Kerr Hansen with a tackle. Kerr is not able to get round the defenders today. As Manchester United's players have been awe-inspired. Here's Samantha Kerr now. Gives it in. Ella Toon is wide open. Oh, and Hampton saw it developing. The ball is still loose. It's a penalty given. The referee is pointing to the spot and booking the goalkeeper. Oh, that's incredibly harsh. Oh, she goes for the ball. Oh, that's incredibly harsh. That's very harsh. I think she's only doing her job. Ella too will no doubt take this. But I think that's incredibly harsh. I think Hampton's been hard done by there, to be honest. Well, Manchester United, much like Arsenal this season, have a pretty much 100% penalty conversion rate. And they continue it with Ella too. And Hampton, well, she is not going to be happy with the referee's decision. I think it's very harsh. Manchester United up by 3-0. The game's over in terms of a contest, and Manchester United will go top at the end of today. But that's a very harsh penalty given by the referee. She even put the player as well. Very harsh. But Chelsea were already behind at that point. It doesn't really change the complex of the game that much. But it is a harsh decision. Manchester United 3, Chelsea 0. They will go top by the end of the afternoon. And will have to do it all at Old Trafford for the final game of Manchester Derby of the season. And then, ironically, listen to this. They've got to go to the Emirates to then win it. And that's been our mainstay for the most of the season following Arsenal for the men's league this season. And the Women's Super League is going to end where this season began. Amazingly. We're going to be hearing North London Forever in a totally different light when we get there. It's going to be quite the weird feeling because we've been hearing it all season, of course, for the men, but the women get it as well. And that's going to be quite the surreal feeling, to be fair. And what an irony if Manchester United were to take the win here and then Arsenal going to win the men's Premier League. That could be at home as well. Could be quite mental. Because their last game of the season, I believe, is against Newcastle United. I could be wrong. And that'll be the Emirates because Newcastle took on Arsenal at St James's Park first. So, the Emirates Stadium could crown 2 champions if we get our way. Manchester United in the Women's Super League, and maybe their own team for the Premier League. And let's hope so. Oh, look at Sam Kerr. A lot of space here. And she has scored. It doesn't mean very much right now, though. And that was very well worked. That's the best passage of play Chelsea have had all game. But is it all over? They celebrate. They really shouldn't be celebrating. They're going to lose the game. But, well, they could. But that's a great pass. Kerr slicing the defence open. I don't think Letizia and Janssen knew what hit them. Well, we said that Sam Kerr definitely is a great striker in her own right. Rather legendary in these parts. And she's shown why there. And I don't think we're even getting a thing up for her. So I think that might be her first goal of the season. She's been struggling, I think, with injury this year. Galton comes on, and Jizze's actually coming on. So Jizze's actually going to be... Jizze's returned to some form of fitness then. So it'll be only Hayley Ladd left on the injury list at the moment. And she's pretty close to returning as well. She might even return for the Manchester Derby. So that'll be rather interesting, actually. So Manchester United will have it all fully available squad for the Arsenal game. And the Arsenal team blew Manchester United out of the stadium at Old Trafford, which is probably one of the most embarrassing times for them of the season. Kerr again. And, well, if she'd scored that, we would have had a very nervy last couple of minutes here. It's rather unfortunate, to be honest. Kingsbury probably had it covered, though. Don't take anything away from Kingsbury. She might not get the clean sheet today, but she's had a brilliant game, to be fair. She kept the majority out. That is the task of the goalkeeper. You might not be able to save them all 100% of the time, but if you save 80%, 100% of the time, you're going to do well. And that's what Kingsbury's done. Benebe. So it all comes down to Old Trafford and then the Emirates then. Of course, that'll be if Chelsea lose next week and Manchester United win, or maybe even draw. If they get a draw and Chelsea lose, then Manchester United will be champions. It will not be official, but Arsenal would have to score almost about... Chelsea would have to score almost about 30 goals in the one game left that they have, which I believe is against Liverpool. Who's to say? To put it all beyond doubt in the final seconds of the game here. And she's run out of space and gives it away. Now, Sam Kerr is injured. She's been struggling all year with it. She's struggling to her feet. Marcia will go on. And now Ritten, who's been literally ineffective all game long, but she does put the ball in there. James, the substitute. And Chelsea really need to shoot from here, and they do. And it's wide, and the game is over. And now, for the first time, I believe, this season, Manchester United are at the top of the table. And with 2 games left, if they draw and Chelsea lose, they will be champions, not officially, but they will be virtually champions on the verge of the vast superior goal difference that United have. But Chelsea need to win now and hope that Manchester City could do something. But don't forget, they lost the last game by 7 goals to 0. Manchester United 3, Chelsea 1. As the pendulum swings back towards United for the first time this season. So, here are all the scores from the weekend. And what that means for the Premier League table, the Women's Super League table, my apologies. Everton lose to Brighton by 2-1. West Ham lost to Crystal Palace by the same scoreline. And then there was a 3-1 win for Spurs, of all teams, against Liverpool, as their season is just compounded in misery in terms of the table. Arsenal and Aston Villa actually drew 2-2, but it doesn't really mean much in terms of the top 4 places. Arsenal have pretty much solidified that. Manchester United winning and Manchester City winning. So it's all down to the last 2 games dead. Manchester United just need to win them to win the title. It's probably going to go down to the final day, in all honesty.